Pet Semetary was directed by Dennis Weidmer and Kevin Kolsch. I hope I pronounced that right. They directed Starry Eyes, among a couple other movies. Check their full IMDb to figure out, all the stuff they did, if you've seen any of it. And also, the screenplay was done by Jeff Bueller, or Buller, or something. I don't know. Bueller is what I'm going to go with, even though I'm pretty certain that's not right. He also did the screenplay for The Prodigy, which I fucking hated. And if you're unfamiliar with Pet Sematary, this is a remake of a 1989 horror movie that was based on the popular work by Stephen King. And the idea is it's based around a family. This family has a tragedy where they lose a pet, and then they lose a child. And the elderly neighbor informs them of a place where things can be brought back to life, but they don't come back the same. And this stuff was said in the new trailer, but if you've seen the original, this is pretty much a goddamn retread, and there's nothing wrong with retreads. If anything, I think the retreads, when done right, can actually be pretty damn good. And after seeing what they did with It Chapter 1, and not necessarily being sold on it until I watched it and enjoyed it, I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe these, newer versions of Stephen King's work can actually do well. Because the 1989 edition wasn't all that great. It was pretty damn cheesy. There was some, of course, you had the violent kid and stuff like that, and you had everything. So how does this measure up to the original? It's a little better, but it's not much better. Now, I will say this. I hated the 1989 original. Now, it had its moments, but it's a weird, cheesy horror movie from like 88 to 93 where they just have that weird feel to them. They all seem the same. They just seem so generic and cut from the same cloth. But again, with the benefit of newer technology, you're thinking, okay, this could actually be good. It kind of takes a grittier approach, like the Evil Dead remake, back in a few years ago, which I admit wasn't great, but I enjoyed, for what it was. It was much grittier, but it did have a lot of enjoyment to it. Now, the thing about this one, though, is it really has nothing but a bunch of cookie cutter characters and a whole bunch of just jump scare shit. Like the music drops down, drops out, and then boom, and they do a whole bunch of that. So there are going to be spoilers from, in just a few seconds, but I'm basically going to say this. If you enjoyed the first one, you'll probably enjoy this one. But really, it's just a complete fucking retread. The family loses a pet, they lose a child, and a whole bunch of creepy shit goes down. That's essentially what this movie is. But it's not very good. It really fucking isn't. And I didn't have high expectations for this, but I thought that, oh boy, it was pretty damn bad. So I'm going to get right into spoilers here from about 3 minutes in. So I'm putting it in the description. So if you're watching from here on out and you get upset with spoilers, sorry, I warned you. 3, 2, 1, go. So you have Jason Clarke, who's in Winchester. He plays the husband Louis, or Louis. With the way they spell it or whatever, you can't really, you really could go either way. And they're supposed to be from Boston. This family's supposed to be from Boston, right? So you have Jason Clarke's character, who sounds like his accent's all over the fucking map. First, it sounds like it's from Canada. Then it sounds like it's from the South. Then it sounds like it's from Boston. And I know Boston's kind of a melting pot when it comes to East Coast stuff. And I quite frankly enjoyed talking to a lot of people from Boston and enjoyed my time when I was actually there for a weekend about almost a decade ago. But this family leaves the bustle of Boston and everything, and they want to go, and they go to this house, and they want to escape the riffraff in the town. They go to Ludlow, Maine, which is near Derry. There's even a reference at one point to where, the wife and, the young son are trying to get back to, Ludlow, and there's a sign for Derry. And if you don't know what Derry is, well, it's a town it's a town where Pennywise decides to wreak havoc. I was half expecting Pennywise to just peek over the sign like, hi. In this one, you have, so basically the family moves in, and they do no research on this goddamn house, by the way. They're just happy to get a house, in the woods and everything, but then big old trucks are flying by. Okay, big old trucks are flying by and everything. Not that this will come back into play, to play later in the movie at all. Oh wait, yes, it fucking does. They have a daughter and they have a young son. The daughter's around 9 or something like that. nine, 10. You know, I mean, it's like I think she turns 9 in the movie, like for her birthday. That clearly great things happen after that, but it's like the girl's probably right around that. The girl playing Ellie, who's a young daughter, was fine. The young boy playing the other son, Gage, whatever. Kid actors, I don't like necessarily pick on kid actors, as they're just doing what they can. The girl playing Ellie was good for who she was. Um, Everybody else is just a generic character. That's the problem. And you got John Lithgow playing the elderly neighbor that is like, oh, hey, you see all, if you see some creepy stuff, don't wander in the woods, don't do all this stuff. So naturally, what happens right after the family gets there? Ellie starts wandering off like very very soon after. She finds a pet cemetery and this big old wall of like wood and stuff like that and branches, and runs into Judd, who is John Lithgow, Third Rock from the Sun, and Cliffhanger. He was the villain in Cliffhanger. I'm sorry that I reminded you of that. That movie is pretty shit. Also, it was fun though. Jason Clarke's got to start picking better movies. He really has to start picking better stuff. He plays a doctor in this, and he played a doctor in Winchester. And he seems to enjoy now. Is he being typecast as a doctor that just does a whole bunch of stupid shit and makes the dumbest decisions possible to advance a plot? I know it's a horror movie. I know that's the point, but retreads don't hurt if you have fun with it. This movie just went by the book. If this had been out on Netflix, there really wouldn't have been anything to it. You wouldn't have noticed the difference. The special effects look really fucking lousy. To back up a little bit, the only decent performance actually was from their cat. It was from the freaking cat in the movie. And the cat, of course, ends up dying. And, because John Lithgow's character has developed an attachment to Ellie because she reminds him of somebody he used to know. Not in a creepy way, don't worry, it doesn't go that route, thankfully. But they bury the cat in the pet cemetery in this weird area where they manage to climb over the wood stuff, and they wander through these waters on this mountain or these mountain paths or something, and it's the most generic, horrible green screen stuff. It's like stuff from the 70s. If the 70s had no budget, it was really bad. There were some really bad special effects here. There was a lot of goofy shit. No, you got to make a shrine. You got to, you got to bury the cat a certain way. And then the cat comes back and everything's all happy and everything. And then, no, the cat's really fucking possessed and not nice and decides to go, ugh. Well, then the cat ends up making its way back to the house after Jason Clarke's character tries to get rid of it, take it away. And then Ellie ends up getting hit at her birthday party. Lovely. It's great stuff. Really great stuff. That truck crash thing where the trailer, flies off. I think it was like a gas trailer or something like that. It was some of the worst special effects I've seen in a number of years. And I don't know if it was because of the budget or the special effects people phoned it in, but it was bad. So Ellie dies. And then, in the most infinitely stupid thing, knowing that the cat was all possessed, let's have this father put his daughter in there. Put his daughter, bury his daughter. Okay, cool, whatever. All the while, the wife and the young son are back at her parents' house. And then there's this whole weird subplot where the wife is tormented by remembering that she had a deformed sister that had a bad spine and everything, and she had to feed her because the parents always left her alone. And then the sister died because of this dumbwaiter thing where the sister fell down or whatever, and it was the most boring, stupid fucking plot. It was just it was bad. It was really bad. I mean, I don't like to pick on movies that much. Sometimes I do. I wanted this to be good, but it just wasn't. The stuff with the cat, again, the best actor and the most fleshed out character in the goddamn movie. When Ellie dies or comes back, yeah, there was some, generally creepy shit, sort of. I don't want to say that it's the worst movie I've seen, but it was pretty bad. Now, one thing I do want to focus on, in the trailer, you may, if you've seen the trailer, there are kids, playing drums and everything, and they show, pretty soon after they get there, they show the kids, playing these drums, wearing these weird masks and everything, taking this animal to the pet cemetery, so they're going to bury it. the kids are never seen again. So I don't know if these are kids from the neighborhood, if these kids are dead and everybody can just see them, or what's going on. That's never necessarily referenced. A lot of the movie, I mean, yes, it probably helps. It probably would have helped if I had brushed up on the book. But for 94 minutes, a lot of stuff is just left up to the imagination. But the problem is that any of the stuff they explain, you just don't care about. The dad makes the dumbest decisions, burying his daughter and then trying to act like it's perfectly normal. And then the mother and the young son come back. And when she finally sees her daughter, she sees her daughter like knowing that her daughter's dead. Instead of taking the young son and running to the car, she goes upstairs. Run to the damn car, get that, and leave. That's what I'd fucking do. I mean, I know trauma can be kind of difficult, but seriously, that's pretty ridiculous. John Lithgow's character gets dispatched. They do the Achilles tendon thing, or, they get the heel cut and everything, and all the tendon stuff. We don't have any Adam's apple biting, thankfully, but we do get a lot of stabbing. A lot of the violence happens off screen, weirdly enough. Like, the body's like here, and then, you just get the stabbing, and that doesn't look like stabbing at all, so I'm going to stop that. There's some violence, and there's a few moments where it's kind of creepy. Again, Ellie, when she dies and comes back, that's probably about, the other most fleshed out performance, pardon the pun. But then you get to the end where the family basically all dies, and one by one they take each other, they take the most recently dispatched to that area to be be brought back. And it's not sometimes they come back, or sometimes they come back for more, dear God, we don't need that, or sometimes they come back again. I think they did 3 or 4 of those movies. Pet Semetary, honest to God, I didn't expect much, but I didn't expect this. I'm going to give it a D. I want to go lower. I'm not going to. The reason I'm going to go D is because the cat performs, whatever. Ellie, the girl playing Ellie, I think does have a bright future. Everything else, though, was a wash. There were a few atmospheric shots, but by and large, it was so stupid. It was just really fucking stupid. Yeah, I didn't cover every single thing, but D, there's a pole above my head somewhere over there. But just let me know what you guys think. Like, share, subscribe. Twitter handle in the description. I am John Ritland, and I will see you soon.